And we are live
Hey guys.
here for another recap.
Woot woot.
Woo woo.
Okay.
welcome, everyone that is tuning in. We are just so excited that we're able to just come on this Monday, the last Monday of February. So
Can you believe it?
we want to apologize, guys, because this month we have been busy these last couple Mondays. So we had the recap on the first Monday of February. Now we're here the last
Like
Monday.
Republicans.
But listen, it's okay because we have been just dwelling in this series of how to mend a broken heart.
Yeah.
And we hope, it's our prayer that you have been downloading the growth plans and everything and having your own recap as we took some time to get some things situated. But again, we are happy to see you here today. Do the three things, as I always say: like, comment, and share, because your contribution to this broadcast, by liking, by commenting how you're feeling today, or tagging someone, as well as sharing, can
Yeah.
be the biggest blessings for someone on this Monday, not knowing what they have going on this week or what they're just coming out of the weekend to. Maybe they need to hear this word. Maybe they need to hear this conversation. Maybe they need to be a part of the conversation so
Yeah.
we can hear their perspective as well. Right, Mai?
Absolutely. You never know how being able to share the conversation this way can really impact someone's life.
Yes.
What might be no big deal for you can be life changing for someone else. And when we say things like, share the broadcast or let someone know to tune in with you, it's not about, clicks and likes. It's about, the opportunity that it presents to really impact someone's life. So yeah, it's a powerful thing that we all have at our disposal, here on our phones, on our thumbs, and sharing and liking and doing all the above. So
Absolutely. And even if you are tuning in later, if you're not watching while it's live, you can still share and tag someone in the conversation. Because so a a, a cool example of why it's so important to like and comment and share.
mhm,
So by you liking and commenting, sharing the broadcast, maybe it may bring some joy to someone's day. Like just seeing someone smile, just having this conversation, or just some laughter, some banter, like we like doing up here. My, like, giving you a little bit of the word and giving you a little bit of word, but also some funny with it, right?
yes.
So a great example is that I went to the movies 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
and prior to the movie starting, I was in a recliner chair, and my mom in my chair was not working.
Oh.
So I went out and I like spoke to one of the, people that worked there, this young lady that was checking the tickets wherever.
Mhm.
Now, mind you, I'm just, if you know me, I just have I can talk to anybody. I'll talk to an animal. But, I must have said something that really, like, gave her some encouraging things, right? And
Yeah.
I just probably just said hi, right? So in the movie, she came and she brought a note, and she gave it to me, and within the note it basically said, like, hi, like, I know you don't know me, I know I'm a stranger, but I was driving home, I got off of work, and I said I had to come back. So she came back to work and she wrote this note, and she was just like, just by you just saying hi to me with a big smile, like, it made my whole night. She
Yeah.
said that she has been going through so much in her life right now, and just that small interaction created such a huge impact in just her day. And it was at night, it was 8 o'clock at night. So she
Yeah.
was like, it just made her whole night. But that's a great example how just small gestures, if it's just saying hi or just a smile, can bless someone's life. So if you know that and you have that capability of liking and commenting and sharing a broadcast that may uplift someone, do that right now. I challenge you to do that, because you never know what someone's going through. And we don't just say it to say it. You really don't know what was going through. And
Yeah.
I didn't know what that girl was going through. And here, just me by saying, hi, can you help me fix my chair?
Yeah.
Blessed her life.
Wow. That's amazing, Kev.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
saved the note and everything. I gotta show you the
Oh,
note.
that's really beautiful. But if you think about it, not to jump into the conversation,
Hmm.
the question that's being asked is, how can you mend a broken heart?
Yes.
And it's through interactions like that
Hmm.
that not only do we have the opportunity to help heal someone, because like you said, you never know what someone's going through, and your act of kindness can put a band-aid or start that process of healing and whatever it is that they're going through.
Yes.
But also being on the receiving end of that and
Yeah.
having people treat you in such a kind way really does help to kind of offset all the bad and
Absolutely.
the hardships that we might go through, because it's like a reminder of how good life and people can be as well, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. So, with all that, we want you to encourage someone, invite someone to the discussion because we are learning how to mend our broken hearts. And as Bishop said, that we've all experienced it, whether we've experienced it in different ways, but we all can relate to
Yeah.
our heart being broken or you just walking around with a broken heart. But before we dive into that, some things that we want you to know. I hope you guys enjoyed yesterday worship because
Mm,
yesterday's worship was, listen,
out of this world. Yeah.
ugly cry,
Oh,
ugly cry. So if you enjoyed that worship, we want to make sure that you join us for our second night of
yes.
worship.
So
I
excited.
am so excited. The first one was, I still to this day, as I'm listening to my worship music in the morning, getting ready, I still go back to that night of worship and play it because it was just that impactful. It was that, like, it was top tier worship. It was just authentic. It was just at the feet of the throne, like saying God, just being very vulnerable in that moment. So I can only imagine what the second night of worship is going to be like, right, Mai?
It's gonna be amazing. As we do each night of worship, it's important that we always keep you guessing. Uh, of course, creating room for the Spirit to dwell in, but we're just excited to see um, the lives that will be impacted from this time
Mhm.
that we're going to have together. Of course, we know with Reverend Tyrus and just the praise team that we have at Bethany is no doubt that it's going to be, you know, amazing.
Mhm.
But with the series that we're in, the night of worship is, for lack of better words, paying homage to that.
Mhm.
It's all music to help heal a broken heart.
Mm.
So sure that we can kind of relate to it in different ways, but it's going to speak to our hearts, and how that in that we can offer praise to God. So yeah, it's going to be amazing. Okay, we didn't make it out to the first one. Oh, it was epic. But this is another opportunity for you to come out and join us for that experience again. So
Yes.
it is not that far away. It's on March 8th.
Yes.
Uh, Doors are going to open at 7:30. Okay. And then the night will start at 8 p.m. So if you're seat conscious, come early. All right. And really let as many people as possible know, uh,
Yeah.
regardless of whether or not they are Bethany members, they
Mhm.
may not be, saved at all.
Yeah.
Want to let people know about this because it really is a phenomenal experience that we know will really bless a lot of people.
Absolutely. And we learned in the beginning of this month when Bishop started this series of how to mend a broken heart. The first step to getting to that healing is giving worship, giving authentic worship, screaming hallelujah, giving God the praise and allowing Him to move in your life and heal and mend that broken heart.
Yeah.
So, I love that the second night of worship is geared towards that, to our healing as we're learning about it. Okay, so we addressed it, right? We addressed that we are heartbroken from a number of different things. It could be relationships, it could be from jobs, it could be personal things, it could just be things in your family, right? We all learned that, like, we're addressing that. We've had some experience that some of us are still carrying,
Yeah.
or some that never been properly healed from. So this is the first step to take, of just letting yourself go and just going into that secret place with God and just fill yourself up. So I'm excited, and it's our prayer that you're excited as well. So I echo everything that Maya says. Please make sure that you join us on March 8th for a second night of worship.
Yeah.
My coworker who watches, he said today, he was like, I think I'm gonna go to that night of worship. I missed the first one. I'm like, you don't want to miss the second one, because with this series as well as the worship, I already know that it's going to be an incredible time. So we hope that everyone joins us.
Absolutely. I just want to give a special shout out to Keisha and Manuel and Kife and
Yes.
everyone who is tuning in. We're so happy to see you.
Hmm.
Do me a favor because I'm always interested in seeing, where people are tuning in from and how far our reach goes.
Yes.
So let us know in the comments what city you're watching from, rep your city, so that we can show you guys some love. And also, you, Kevin and I are up here on screen, obviously, but you guys can be part of the conversation too. So go
Mhm.
ahead and be active in the comments.
Yes.
And really let us know what your thoughts are on everything that is happening and what's coming up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So this week we learned about the profound journey of healing through God's grace. We
Mhm.
explore how embracing God's presence and understanding our healing journey can transform our lives. One thing that we all have in common is that we have experienced heartbreak or have been heartbroken. And if we are honest, it took more than a minute to dig ourselves out of that hole. One of the amazing things about heartbreak is that you start to feed your heart the things that will keep it broken. You will start to say things to yourself that you shouldn't say to yourself that relates to the thing that broke your heart. And instead of mending that heart, the heart stays fractured. You
Mm,
can't fix it with what broke it. The enemy's design is to get you to feed the brokenness
mm,
in
mm.
yourself.
Yes.
So, Maya, we have been in this series, how to mend our broken hearts for a month now. So, compared to our pre-assessment of the series to now our post for being 4 weeks into, what is your thinking when it comes to this? What has been a pivotal moment in this series that really stood out to you?
Well, I really like what we learned yesterday.
Hmm.
Because thinking of our previous series, Lord, break my heart for what breaks yours,
Hmm.
that just in how it sounds, asks for, how am I trying to say this? It's asking God for something. So it's not us taking
Hmm.
responsibility for things and things. Does
Right,
that
right,
make
right.
sense? So, like what you just said in the recap of, when we're in that state of brokenness, we find things to kind of source that and just
Hmm.
stay in that brokenness. So
Hmm.
then in my thoughts is that it kind of brings responsibility back into
Hmm.
our hands. And I think we've talked about before about how sometimes when you are in not so good situations, there's a sense of comfort there because
Yes.
what you know, and you source that in your life, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
But if we really want to heal and to
Mhm.
mend in that area, there's things in our lives that we need to address so that
Yes.
we can actually work on them and
Yeah.
come to a place of healing. Like Manuel just said, learning to see beyond the brokenness, that we can
Hmm.
get to that level of wholeness
Right.
that we're looking for. So that kind of puts the power, for lack of better words, back into our hands of what we do now.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that because um we tend to always, like you said in the beginning, we are asking God to show us, right? So God is revealing these things to us now in this series, how to mend that broken heart. We do have that responsibility because, like Bishop said yesterday, we tend to feed our, the same things that broke our heart. We
Yeah.
continue to feed our heart that so it stays fractured.
Yep.
So if I'm heartbroken from a toxic relationship, I continue to find ways to stay in that toxicity,
Yep.
whether it's dealing with the same person or dealing with someone that's like it, right? Or if it's being heartbroken from a job, I tend to have that same attitude that I had at the last job,
Yep.
or I carry that bitterness from the last job into this new job. So
Yeah.
there's a level of responsibility for us to take accountability for this to start the process of healing.
Right. And like just mentioning what Manuel said again, learning to see beyond the brokenness.
Yes.
So when we are in that state of, just repeating things, sometimes
Hmm.
it's hard just to see, okay, or we see things like all these things are happening to me.
Yes.
Something happened to me that
Hmm.
put me in this position,
Hmm.
instead of seeing that there are two sides to every coin, right?
Hmm.
Like maybe something did happen to you, but the
Yeah.
other side of this is that, maybe I'm trying not to sound too harsh or critical,
No,
but
you're fine.
you put yourself in a situation to kind of foster the circumstances of things. And I know is not ever that simple,
Mm-hmm.
but just going back to what I said, being able to see that, we have a little bit more at hand than what we like to give ourselves credit for.
Absolutely. So we start collecting friends with the same brokenness so they can help us stay fractured. We tend to search for people that will agree with our negative ways and thinking. When you can't see good in anything, you can't celebrate anybody or have a hard time saying something good about yourself, that means there is something wrong with your heart.
Hmm.
Your heart is actually a recording machine that records the things that we hear, see, and the stuff that we go through. Bishop said that we are good at forgetting our history, but until God blesses you, every party, drug, drink, and person is still carried in our hearts.
Mm,
Even people we don't even want to talk to are still in our hearts.
wow.
Wow. That man said every party, drug, drink, and person
Yep.
are still in our hearts. So when he said that, I immediately thought of, excuse me, of the of of those individuals that I was once friends with. And now I'm not friends with anymore. Those that I may have not had closure with how the friendship ended.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows me that if I didn't, so I did have some closure, but those that I did not have closure with, I see why my heart is, I still feel a certain type of way because that heartbreak was never mended.
Mm-hmm.
It was it was in a sense broken, and I'm still carrying that.
Mm-hmm.
So it speaks to a lot of the toxic traits that we carry on year after year, month after month. We can sit and listen to sermon after sermon, but if we don't properly eliminate those things, we're going to continue to carry them in our hearts. So,
Mm-hmm.
what was your thinking about that, Mai? Like just carrying that weight of that party, of that drink, of that drug, of that broken relationship, of that friendship, of that. What was your thinking when Bishop said that we are still carrying that in our hearts?
Yeah. It's dicey.
Dicey. It's actually Bishop was being spicy yesterday.
Yeah. And, just think about, okay, in terms of relationships, friendship, I've said before, and you've heard this, birds of a feather flock together.
Mm-hmm.
Friend people who are like you in some shape, way, or form.
Mm-hmm.
So, in thinking about it that way, there is a piece of you in them. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that it's hard to kind of give up or to let go of that weight because it's like you're giving up a part of yourself,
Yeah.
and your identity. And uh when we find ourselves in a period of transition
Mm-hmm.
into a new identity, the child
Mm-hmm.
of God, it can be hard to kind of balance out who you are now
Right.
with who you are then. So I think it's almost kind of like an act of rebellion. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
ready to let go of this piece of me.
Mm.
And that's a hard thing. It's a
Yeah.
hard thing. And I think eventually, I've always been like a peel, just rip the band-aid off type of person.
Mm-hmm.
I think eventually you get to that point when you see that the outcome is
Mm-hmm.
so much more
Mm-hmm.
than how it was when you were just sitting in that situation.
Yeah.
Um, but and then that will kind of speak to itself. That will make
Yeah.
everything okay. You might not understand it. There's
Mm-hmm.
a certain uh comfort, I guess, that comes with clarity.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of looking for the why of things, you just start to understand the purpose of things. So I might never have clarity in why this happens, but because of where I am at now, and I see where God has brought me, and I see how I've grown into this new person and this new identity that I am, I understand the purpose of why I went through it.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense. And as Bishop said, like we tend to collect friends with the same brokenness. So it goes back to the original point where you said that we have to with this series, we're learning that we have some responsibility in this.
Mhm.
So you have the responsibility to choose who's around you.
Mhm.
I feel like sometimes we tend to shy away from those that's going to give us that tough love because we want to hear what we're feeling is correct. This is the correct feeling. Like you're agreeing that I should cuss this person out or I should feel this way.
Mhm.
No, you should be around those people that are going to challenge you, but also hold yourself responsible to not get offended when someone challenges thinking.
Mhm.
Like for me, I love when someone challenges my thinking because in in the end, I'm growing from it
Yeah.
because they're challenging my thinking because they see something that I don't see
Mhm.
and they're helping me grow to that thinking.
Mhm.
I'm maturing my mindset. I'm maturing in my ways of how I interact with individuals. So I think there's a level of responsibility on us where we have to say to ourselves, I can't get offended when someone tells me no, or no, that's not the right way to think about that. Or what would God do? What would God say? Or relate you back to what Bishop is teaching us.
Yeah.
We're so quick to find those, flop to those people that are going to be that comfort for us. They'd be like, oh,
Enable us.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's going to cradle us. That's going to enable us. Get away from the enablers and get around those that are going to push you.
Mhm. But that goes back to what we've been saying about how there's comfort in, staying
Mhm.
within the box. And
Yes.
people are going to enable you to stay in the box and not to grow. Um, but, I hope that eventually it gets to a point where it's like, okay, I just can't stay here anymore.
Yeah.
But no, it's a true thing. Like having those people that will try and keep you at that level is really just going back to your comfort level.
Yeah.
And there's no growth in that.
Yeah. So as I said before, the we have the action plan. Not, excuse me. We have the growth plans
Mhm.
that have so many things within it that keeps you fed throughout the week until we experience the next layer of the sermon. So personally, for me, what I love with the growth plans are the action steps. Right.
Yeah.
So this week, um, for one of the action steps, we have the gratitude practice. So we want you to begin each day by listing 3 incidents of grace you experienced the previous day. This practice helps in recognizing God's hand in even the smallest details of your lives. So if you just take the time, even at the end of the day, as you're winding down, think of 3 things where God's grace protected you. As we say every time on Engage, every Sunday, when we drive in that parking lot, when we're able to put our car in park
Mhm.
and walk in the sanctuary, that be an automatic praise,
Yes.
right? Being able to hear and type right now online and be engaged in a conversation, that should be a gratitude that should speak to your gratitude of just being present in this conversation and experiencing this right now, right? So, and also in return of that, well, in the same sense, excuse me, we have a forgiveness exercise that we want you to do as well. So reflect on any past hurts that you may have experienced,
Mm.
because like Bishop said, we tend to forget that past, but that past that we're trying to forget still is carried in our hearts, which
Yeah.
is why we're walking around with broken hearts.
Yeah.
So we want you to pray for the strength to forgive, understanding that healing often begins with letting go of past hurts.
Mm.
So write a letter of forgiveness. You don't have to send it.
Yep.
It can just be for yourself, as a gesture of releasing that pain, right?
Yeah.
So there's a number of action steps, but for me this week, these stood out to me because it goes back to what we said in the beginning. It's putting the responsibility in our hands.
Mm-hmm.
These are things that we can be doing right now to get to that healing process.
Yeah.
Not saying that you're going to be healed from all the things that you experience in one night.
Right.
No, but you have to start somewhere and you have to start at some time. So why not start tonight? Why not start tomorrow? Right, Mai?
Absolutely. There's so much power, I think, in being able to do that. And let's be real, it's not an easy process at all. It can take, weeks, months, years for you to really get to a place of forgiveness. It's all about timing, I think, too. And just what's really important is that you allow yourself to do it.
Yes.
So we definitely do hope that you will go throughout those action plans. I love being able to
Oh, did she get paused? Oh no, she's pausing. She was about to say something great too. Well, what I will say is, while she gets back on, ask yourself the question: what have you been saying to yourself that keeps your
it's
heart
kind of
broken?
hard.
Oh, there you go, Ma. You there? Oh, she's breaking up. She's having tech issues. But what have you been saying to yourself that keeps your heart broken as you go into this week, as you start thinking of that process of healing that broken heart? Ask yourself, what are you saying to yourself? What are you feeding yourself? What are you spiritually feeding yourself? What are you saying? What seeds are you planting in your harvest, right? So we are just so grateful and thankful that you're able to just come on and have this conversation with us each and every Monday. We like to take this time to just fellowship with you and just have this honest conversation of this sermon, of this series of how to mend our broken hearts. We want you guys to make sure that you stay tuned to everything that we have online, as well as in person. As always, we have our Word Impact on Wednesdays. We have our noonday as well as our evening day Bible study. We have the growth plans. Ma, you there?
The devil is a liar.
The devil is a liar. The devil was a liar. You was trying to say something. I was like,
saying
oh
something
no.
good too.
But go ahead. You want to finish your thought?
What was I talking about? I really don't remember. I'm sorry, guys.
It's all right. It's all right. Listen, it's good. So, like I was just telling them everything that they can look forward to this week. So we have our midday service, our 12 o'clock, as well as the evening service. We have, these action plans as well as these growth plans, but it's also good to just get some good word throughout the week as well to keep you fed spiritually throughout the week. So we want you to make sure that you join us for our Word Impact on Wednesday, as well as going into the weekend. Is there anything out of this week that we should be staying focused or looking forward to this week, Mai?
No, I think you hit the major points. Just, keep in mind and get excited for some of the things that we have coming up down the line.
Yes.
Of course, we mentioned earlier, our night of worship. We want to see as many people there as possible. But then we also have like our church anniversary and Power of God and all those things that are coming back this year as well.
Also, we are fastly approaching our Easter season.
Yes, Easter.
I know, right? It's like we just celebrated Christmas.
I know.
But we are going into this Easter season, participating in this Lent season where we're giving some things up for Lent. So each and every Wednesday at 7 a.m., Pastor Nick is coming with a prayer as well as a word just to get you started, to keep you encouraged during this Lent season. So we want you, make sure that you join us, even if you log on late and you see it, make sure that you really sit and listen to the word as well as the prayer, because
Mhm.
that is what's going to keep you encouraged during this time, as it can be hard.
Yeah.
We know that fasting and giving things up and being obedient in those areas can be challenging for us at times, especially throughout the week, a work week. You don't know who's going to try and make no matter what you're giving up for the Lent season. So we want to
Mhm.
make sure that you are staying encouraged and that
Yeah.
you are also connected with us. So you can join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. as Pastor Nick, who does an amazing job each and every week, blesses us with a prayer as well as a word. Right, Maya?
Yeah. And in addition to that, we also have our devotional guides for Lent that are available on our Bethany website. If you scroll down on the page, you'll see the Lent devotional guides, but it really is just a great way to kind of uh, keep sane as we go through this process. It gives encouragement and just a little bit more insight into what this season really is about as we grow closer to Christ. So
Amen.
download that. It's amazing. Pastor Nick wrote something for us for each day as we go through these 40 days of Lent. So definitely do download that and add it as part of your collection.
Amen. Amen. As always, we are very thankful for all those that tuned in, all those that are going to tune in later, everyone that's in the comments. I see your comments. It's our prayer that you enjoyed the discussion. I'm seeing the comments that saying they love the discussion today. Please, we encourage you to join us next week, same time, same place, same day, Monday at 5:30, as we continue the discussion around this mending our broken hearts. But it's our prayer that you have a blessed and safe week, Bethany family, and we look forward to seeing you online or in person for our services. All right. See you later,
Absolutely.
Bethany family.
Bye, guys.